everybody. My name is Anna Yogan. I'm very happy to be here again in our program, Consciousness in Evolution. Today, we have a very special guest, Professor Rodrigo Marchioli. He's going to be talking about personal energetic task. So, Rodrigo Marchioli, he is a lawyer and a university professor with a PhD in philosophy and general theory of law from the University of São Paulo Faculty of Law. He's a volunteer, researcher, instructor at the International Association of Interassistential Parapsychism, ASSIPI, and he serves as coordinator of the Center for Research on Consciousness Phenomena. Thank you for joining us today, Rodrigo. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Anna, for inviting me. It's also my pleasure to be here. And I'm very happy to talk about this topic today.
All right, so we are going to talk about Penta, or personal energetic task. This is a neologism of conscientiology. Can you introduce the theme for the people that are not very acquainted with this neologism?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think it's a good way to start about talking about Penta. So Penta was proposed originally by Professor Valdo Vieira. I think he proposed Penta maybe in the mid 90s. I'm not precisely sure when it was proposed, but I'm almost totally sure that it was in the mid 90s. And it is a assistential technique. So it is something that you will do as a technique to assist people through your energies. So we are presupposing here that you have a body of energy and that you can interact with energies. And these energies can be channeled to assist other people, especially people that are in the other dimension, in the extra physical dimension. So this is the main goal of Penta, is to assist other consciousness that are in the other dimensions, such as the astrophysical dimension, through our own energies. So, but this transmission of energy is an essential part of Penta, that it does not happen through the practitioner alone. It happens with the help of an extra physical helper too. So essentially, Penta is this. But yeah, we have maybe a picture here. Yeah, I think this can illustrate a little bit what Penta might look like from a multidimensional perspective. So we have the practitioner of Penta seated, and the helper, the astrophysical helper, is channeling the energies of the practitioner to assist this third person in the picture. So basically, this is what happens in Penta. And there are other aspects of Penta that must be highlighted. The first one is that once you start doing Penta, is a commitment that you are doing for the rest of your life. So this is a very important aspect of Penta, because once you start, you cannot stop. This is part of the technique. Another aspect, a very important aspect of the technique, is that you have to do it every day at the same time, every day at the same time. So it is a very challenging technique, conscientiological technique or assistential technique, because you have to do it for the rest of your life and every day at the same time, every day. So, uh, this technique, one of the parts of the technique regarding the time of the session is that usually the sessions, they have a duration of 15 minutes. So if your sessions are lasting longer or lesser than 15 minutes, maybe something must be adjusted to fit what the technique proposes. So I think that this is the basic aspects of Penta. Um,
Yes, I was thinking here for who is starting to know conscienciology. Uh, in the universe, we have two realities, let's put it
yes.
this way, in terms of energies. One reality would be the immanent energies, and the other one is the consciential energy. Can you talk a little more about this?
Yeah, yes. This is a great question, Anna. You know, now people in our community, they are really trying to understand what is the difference between these two energies, the immanent energy and the consciential energy. Because, you know, in first place, we have something that I would say uh, is a concept to make things easier to understand. So this is also a proposal of Professor Valdo. He divided the kinds of energy into two main categories, which is the immanent and the consciential energy. But we could ask if the immanent energy is not also a consciential energy, if there is not a consciousness behind this immanent energy. Because, you know, if you think I am going very far now. I'm
Please
uh,
do.
yes, I'm going very far now because it is interesting to understand these two aspects of energy. But then I will come back to Penta just to make things clearer. But now I'll just try to answer your question and then come back to Penta. You know, if consciousness is something which is fundamental in the universe, maybe this immanent energy is not something uh, departed from consciousness, is also consciential energy. So this is the question: if this immanent energy isn't also consciential energy. This is the problem. I think many people are trying. Many people in conscientiology or community are trying to answer now. You know, we have, like in Reaprendência, we have Professor William Klein, which is trying to answer that, to better define what energy is in the uh, conscienciological overview. And we also have Professor Luciana Ribeiro, which is trying also to define what is immanent energy through the Para-Ecologicals Association, which is an
Another CI.
institution, yeah, another CI, an institution that deals with environmental and para-environmental things and studies. And there's not a clear answer or a closed answer to this question. But coming back to Penta, as I said, uh, in first place, I think we could say that we are dealing with consciential energy. So the helper, the astrophysical helper, he will work with the practitioner of Penta through the consciential energies of the practitioner. Uh, this is common sense of Penta, you know? So in first place, the helper will deal with your energies, not with immanent energies or energies that are out of the practitioner. Let's say like this: the helper will not take, for example, the energies of the water or of the air or of the earth to assist other kinds of consciousness. He will channel the energies of the practitioner. This is common sense in Penta now.
Someone could think like, the helper is a more evolved consciousness. Couldn't it just do it directly to the person to be assisted? Why
Yes.
does he or she needs another
Yes, yes.
conscious?
Yes, yes. This is a very good question also. But I think that this question you did, I would like to add something else to the previous question, because we could ask the same question regarding immanent energies, because there are so many immanent energy in the cosmos. Why not use this energy to assist other consciousness? And it's much more abundant energy, immanent energy, than consensual energy, from the specific practitioner. Why not use just immanent energy, which is much more much more purer energy and much more, in some sense, powerful energy? Why not just use that energy or that kind of energy to assist astrophysical consciousness or even interphysical consciousness? And the answer to that, and also answering your other question, but I will answer your other question in another way. But answering that question of immanent energies, this is because consensual energy has, something that maybe in immanent energies there's not, which is feelings, emotions, and thoughts. So when a penta practitioner is transmitting its energies with the help of an extra physical helper, it's not just the energies that are being channeled to the other consciousness, but the 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 thought scene of the practitioner. So also his emotions, his feelings, his thoughts, that is going together with his energies. I think that's why the helpers just not uh, they just not rely on immanent energies, because immanent energies, or as a definition, there's no emotions or thoughts imbued in the immanent energies, which is the characteristic that differs from the consensual energies. I think that's why the helpers rely on the practitioners of Penta to do this kind of assistance. And answering the last question you did, I think I can say that the people that come to be assisted in a Penta session, they have something to do with the practitioner. That's why the helper cannot help these people by himself. He needs the practitioner because the practitioner has some close relationship with the people that are assisted in the session. So the assistance is much more, has much more efficacy, and has much more power to do its work with the practitioner than with the helper itself, because of this close relation. So, for example, it is common to appear or to be brought people in the session that were close relatives to the practitioner or close friends to the practitioner, not just in this life, but maybe in the other lives, because many people come to be assisted through time. If you are doing Penta through your whole life, many people will come to your session. So probably will come not just people that you met in this present life, but in other lives too. So this is my hypothesis. I don't know if maybe other arguments could be added, but I would say in that sense, in first place.
Very good. And if we go to think about practicing this technique, what would be the purpose of a penta and why people practice this technique?
Yes, this is a very good question also, because there's some kind of paradox here, because we can think that the prediction of penta, we know that even people that don't practice penta, they can realize that, but people who practice penta can verify very, very, no, I don't know if I can say very, but it's not hard to verify that the practitioner of penta is the first person to be assisted. So one could think, uh, if I'm going to be the first one to be assisted, maybe it's a good thing to do assistance. You know, there was an entry to Conscienciological Encyclopedia that I wrote some years ago, which is the law of interassistentiality. I wrote this, I don't know, maybe 2018. I'm not sure. But, you know, it is from human nature that a principle of human nature that people doesn't act in some sense if there is not some kind of return of that act. So we'll just do something if there is something in return, even if we are not thinking about this return. I think interestentiality is based on that. You are not thinking in anything in return, but at the same time, that's why it's a paradox, as I said in the beginning of my answer. Uh, at the same time, there is return in an interestentiality. That's why it is called interassistentiality and not just assistentiality. It, you receive what you give. This is a basic principle in interestentiality. So I think one of the most strong things in Penta is that the practitioner is the first one to be helped. And obviously, when I started to do Penta, I didn't. I was not expecting to be helped, but I was very, very helped. It was very useful to me in first place because I was doing so many things in my life, and it was my life was kind of a mess in time in terms of self-organization. And Penta helped me to organize everything and to uh, throw away things that were not more useful to me. And the helper that was working with me also helped me to do it. So you start Penta not expecting uh, or expecting nothing, but you actually receive a lot. So this is something that somebody who's willing to start to practice Penta could think. It is a
So,
paradox because it's something, not very logic that I'm saying here, because you do not expect, but you will receive something in
so one
return.
of the benefits, as you just said, would be prioritization.
Yes, prioritization, self-organization. Um, you, you have a helper to work with every day. This is guaranteed. If you are really organized around your practice, you have a helper every day to help you with. So if you need to deal with a lot of intruders, for example, imagine your life, you have a lot of issues, problems with intraphysical or astrophysical intruders. Uh, you will be the first one to be assisted in it, because you have a helper every day to deal with it, because the helper wants to help you in first place, so you'll be able to help other people afterwards, because you cannot help somebody if you have many issues to deal with. So the helper know that, and in order to make you able to do more assistance, to amplify, to get your assistant wider, he will help you in first place. So uh, obviously this will require from the practitioner, as you said, prioritizing, self-organizing, self-discipline. And these are aspects that will come along. This has also to do with self-evolution in a general sense. So you also gain in that sense, because you will evolve yourself. You need to evolve yourself in order to have your penta working properly. So you have to develop all these aspects, these attributes of consciousness, in order to put your penta into work properly, to function properly. So you have a helper, you have daily assistance of an astrophysical helper, a technician. This is important to say. This is not, as people think, a helper is not somebody as an angel, or somebody which is familiar to a simple friend. A helper is not that. A helper is somebody who has techniques, who has knowledge to work with that, and you have this daily assistance from him. You have to develop many attributes of regarding of consciousness, or of evolution. Sorry. What else could I say? You will develop your self parapsychism. I don't know if everybody's familiar to this term, but your extra,
Extrasensory.
yes, extrasensory attributes, your perceptions in a broad sense. You also developed it, and your sensitivity with the energies. And once you can develop these extrasensory attributes and your sensibility with energies, you start to develop some kind of power to heal yourself in many circumstances. Because there are many situations that we feel some kind of sickness, like a headache, like something that is making us sick in some sense, or awful in some sense.
Sometimes in ambiances that you go and you feel like
Yes,
you are kind of feeling sick or feeling unwell.
yes. And you start to empower yourself to deal with these little inconveniences, these
Right.
little inconveniences that in a deeper sense is something related to energy problems, because an intruder can block your fields of energy, and can lead you to a headache or something like that. And you start to feel more and more empowered to deal with these kind of things. So I said three things here that I think it's maybe can inform and make maybe clearer what are the benefits of penta. But I could say a lot of more things that are related to.
And the person who is starting, do they need any type of a special ability or some psychic or paranormal abilities to practice Penta? Or anybody could practice Penta?
Yeah, this is also a very good question. Um, it's yes and no. The answer for that. It's no because it's not something directed to gifted people. Penta is not not something created or thought to some kind of elected people. It's something for everyone. Everyone can start Penta. There's no something that hinders someone to start Penta. But at the same time, there's some recommendations that we would do in order to make Penta go to flow a little bit better. Because, if somebody is doing a lot of things in his life, for example, he's studying, he's working, he has to take care of children, he has to do a lot of things in a daily basis. Every day he has many tasks to do. I think it will be very hard to start Penta. So my main recommendation would be to get life a little bit lighter in order to start Penta, because I'm saying for my own experience, I started Penta in 2016, and my life, as I said, was a little bit in a mess. Was kind of chaotic life because I was doing so many things, and I thought that, oh, I just have to do Penta for 15 minutes in any time of my day. It will be an easy thing to do. But actually, it was not the case because, Penta start to monopolize your life because you have to be organized before Penta and after Penta. It's not just the 15 minutes you become available to do Penta, and you do your session and you are free to do whatever you want. This is not the case. You need to, mainly when you are beginning, you have to organize yourself to be not just on time of the session, but to reduce progressively your work uh, before the beginning of the session. So you cannot, for example, you cannot immediately comes back from a workout. You went running in the streets, and immediate after your running, you come back home. You start Penta. You cannot do this kind of thing because you need to be relaxed. Your body need to be relaxed. Your mind need to be more also relaxed, but more empty. You cannot be thinking in a lot of things and go to Penta, because your Penta session will be very convoluted. You just be thinking in other things, and you not be able to feel the energies, feel the presence of the helper, and realize what the assistance is needed to do at that time. So you need to organize your whole life in order to, when you get to the time to do your session, your Penta session, you are really prepared to do that. And afterwards, when you finish your session, you cannot also go running to do your things and in a very rush mode, uh, start doing everything, because you went through something that we call, I don't know if in English it's that exact word, is this coincidence.
A coincidence.
Yes. So you went through a out,
Out
outer
of body experience.
no outer state of consciousness.
Oh, altered. Yes.
Yeah, you went through during the penta session. You go through a outer state of consciousness. So it's not something that you wake up and you do your things right away. You need to recoincidence again into your body, and this varies from people to people, but it takes some time to do it. So some people need, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes to do it. And there's also another thing which is very important to do is the registers, to register everything you experienced during the session. This is a very important thing because I see many people that don't take notes of what happened, and they don't actually know how he is performing during the session. He doesn't have many information about what is happening. So you have to take notes, you have to take easy, take slowly, and then you can do your things. So that there are many recommendations that I could give that applies to before Penta and to after Penta, that encompasses a lot of things that are goes far beyond than the 15 minutes that you have to be available to your session. So this would be my recommendations to somebody that is willing to start Penta. So I think many people would not be fit to do Penta because they don't have this kind of availability to to start Penta because Penta goes much beyond the 15 minutes.
We have a question from Leona. She asks about if Penta helps the practitioner directly or the practitioner evolves because of the restricted system it imposes on him or herself.
Yeah, thank you, Leona. Great question. Um, yeah, this is a very good question. I think that it's also both things that she said, because I think Penta helped the practitioner directly, and also helps the practitioner because it demands some things of the practitioner. I wouldn't say impose the system impose because there's not a system in itself. It is a self commitment. It's not something from outside that is imposing into the practitioner. It's something that the practitioner understands and start to do in that sense because of the understanding and not because something is imposing to him. But anyway, I think it's the two things, Leona, because you know uh, I will answer your question saying the following: the two things, because there are some things that benefits the practitioner and that comes into the benefit of the practitioner, not because the practitioner does something, but just because of the circumstances and the conditions that the practitioner is under, he's benefited by it. So, for example, as I said, the presence of a helper, the practitioner does not need to do something specifically, but he's helped just because he's doing Penta. He's not doing something because during a session of Penta, a practitioner needs to basically relax. This is the basic thing in Penta. He needs to relax. He doesn't need to give any command or any doesn't need to start any kind of action to transmit his energies. He just needs to relax, and the helper will do the job. This is basically the principle the basic principle in Penta. So if you just need to relax, and you can understand relax as an action, this is okay. But after that, you don't need to do anything else, and you will be benefited by it, because once the helper is working with you, everything that you have, like intruder problems, energetic blockages, and things like that, could be resolved at that time. And you are doing basically nothing during the session. You're just relaxing. So this is the case where the practitioner is being directly helped or benefited by doing nothing. But also he's being helped by the system, let's say, as you put it, because, as I said, you need to organize your life in a way that you will perceive these benefits at some point. So, for example, you need to develop discipline, organization, prioritization. You need to also develop your sensibility, your parapsychism. So all of the attributes, or yeah, maybe all, but many attributes that you need to evolve as a consciousness, you will be required to develop these attributes in order to have a functional penta. So I think it's a great opportunity. You are giving yourself an opportunity to develop these attributes of consciousness. So I think
I
you
would
you
like to
you gain in every sense.
I would like to remember something that for me it was very important, and it was a huge exercise to make during the time I started Penta, which is that point of never thinking badly of yourself. Uh, you never think badly of others, but you have to also learn
Yes.
never to think badly of yourself. And this is something that Penta helps you a lot, because it helps you develop your sense of cosmoethics, right?
Yes.
If you could talk a little more about this, what cosmoethics is.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Um, yeah. This is a very good point. You know, during Penta, you have to uh, modulate the way you think. So this is a very good thing. You know, many people are thriving. You are welcome, Leona. No problem. So many people are thriving to think differently, and they recur to many professionals, to many techniques, and many things that you can find in many places, like in, I don't know, psychology. Positive psychology, for example, is an example that tries to help you to modulate the way you think in a positive sense. But you know, Penta is very strong in that sense, because if you do not do this, if you do not modulate your thinking into a cosmoethic way of thinking, your Penta will not work. So your helper will be on your side, helping you, to giving some tips, or to showing you that, look, if if you think in that way, the helping session will not happen. You need to think otherwise in order to everything function properly. And this way of right thinking is what Anna highlighted as cosmoethics. So you need to think cosmoethically in order to think righteously, and in the end to have your penta working properly or adequately. So cosmoethics, in some words, I could sum up cosmoethics as saying that we have some principles in cosmoethics. I think it would be easier to understand. One of the main principles in cosmoethics is to think the best of everyone, or think the best for everyone. So if we start, for example, you have a relative that you need to help in your life, your brother, your sister, your parents, I don't know, somebody in your family you need to help. And you bring this demand to your session of Penta. And, how could you help these people if you don't think well about them? You will not be able to help them. Even if these people mistreated you in some sense, you will need to find a way to think well about them in order to help them and help yourself. This is also an important point. When you are helping somebody, you are helping yourself also at the same time. So in order to think well about these people, you need to you need to have a cosmoethical thought about them, which is thinking well about them. So it's quite simple in theory, but we know that when we try to do it, it's a little bit hard. But when you try to do it during a Penta session, I think it becomes easier because you are being influenced by a helper, which is somebody that is expressing himself in a better condition than ours. So if you try to do it, in a very crowded place, in a very noisy place, or where there are a lot of, as we say, entropic energies or heavy energies or bad energies in that place, it will be very hard. But in your penta room with your astrophysical helper, I think it will be easier. And that will make easier for you also to make to develop your cognition about it. So penta will help you in that way too. Because in a last instance, we need to develop cognition about these things, or these cosmoethical things, because we can understand everything very, or kind of easily theoretically, but when we try to put in practice is a little bit harder. But it's harder because we don't have the proper cognition about it. So when we do this kind of exercise during Penta session, it becomes easier to develop this kind of cognition.
And also, I'd like to mention the cognition of the consciences as well, right? Because some of them, or most of them that are going to be assisted in Penta, they don't have the lucidity that they already went through the disoma, which is the loss of the physical body, and that they are in another dimension, and they are kind of lost in a limbo without knowing where to go.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a stray dog in the street. He's afraid, he's aggressive. He will attack you if you try to take the dog and give some help to the dog. he can attack you and bite you, you know. And a conscious, an extra-physical consciousness, which does not have the right lucidity to understand what is happening, is the same thing. It doesn't have the cognition, the right cognition to understand what is happening, and can react very badly. So if you do it, if you can, if you have the opportunity to help this kind of consciousness in in a proper environment, I think it's much better. This is just my opinion, but we have to depart from the principle of disbelief, right, Anna? I think this is an important point here.
Oh, yeah. The principle of disbelief is something that kind of guides us through the study of conscienciology, and it says, don't believe in anything, not even in what you are hearing here. You need to experiment and have your own experiences, and that's the bigger point, the biggest point here, because as other types of parapsychic experiences and extrasensorial sensorial experiences, you need to have your own. There is no way of having it through any intermediates. You need to have your own experience and conserve your critical sense to interpret the experience in the best way.
Yes.
And there is another point that I would like Rodrigo to talk about. Doing Penta, it's also a great opportunity to do self-research and how this kind of changes our approach in life.
Yes, yes. Yes, definitely. Because, you know, uh, when we start to do Penta, we start to face um, our shadows, our dark side. But I don't mean dark side as something bad. It's
It's
who
just
we are.
our weak traits, right?
Yes, yes, our shadows. Let's say in a Jungian, our shadows, right? So, what is evolution about? It's is about dealing with our shadows in our life, and dealing with it, obviously, knowing it, and first place accepting that we have that kind of things in our personality, in our manifestation, but also trying to address it. So the penta exercise, or the penta path that you start to do and progress through penta can help a lot in self-research, because you start to face things that you thought maybe you didn't have it. Like in my case, I thought I was a very organized person, that everything was in my control. But once I started Penta, many things started to fall apart. So I asked myself, what is happening? What is wrong with my life? Because I thought I had everything in control. But something Penta is not something that, as I said, you just uh, put in your life and think that will not reverb in everything else. It will reverb, and everything that is not really grounded in a solid place will fall apart. This is my experience. Again, the principle of disbelief, I think it's very important. But many things, like things that are idle, like idle friends. I don't know if I can say that in English, but friends that are not adding anything to your life, or relationships that are not really well established in your life, and that goes to friend relationships and love relationships. Your couple maybe can also feel that if your relationship with your couple is not very okay, or very is not grounded into something very solid and cosmoethical, let's say, it could start to fall apart. And but that goes to every aspect of your life, your profession, the things you think, the things you believe, they start to fall apart. And that's a very rich um lesson in self-research, because you start to realize what actually works in relation to consciousness evolution, and you start to realize what doesn't work. So, some things that I was doing, I was trying to maintain in my routine, was not working. Like, some movies that I I would like to watch, or some places I would like to go, that I started to feel that I was very uh, sensitive to that things, and I could not uh, deal with that, or be in touch with that things without preparing myself, because I was very sensitive to that, So many places that I would go easily before starting Penta, I had to be more careful, because I was feeling the things in a much more stronger sense. And I realized that I could not think the same way that I could think before. Like we said, you can't think badly about people, because the the consequences are much more felt when you are a penta practitioner. So this kind of thing, you have to really go deep into self research in order to get things going properly in your life. And we have examples of people that were really strong parapsychists in history, that were not concerned about self research, and they got some problems in their life, like people that were dealing with ectoplasm. I don't know in English if that's the correct
Perfect.
word. Yes, but they had problems. They had problems, like we have the case of Arico. He was a very famous parapsychist. He dealt with healings. He healed
Para
people.
surgery.
Parasurgery, yes, and he was not concerned at all about his self research, and he was very, you know, he drove very fast his car. He was not looking to himself to work in a adequate way with his parapsychism. And he was very young. He had a car accident, because when you are dealing with a huge amount of energies, you have to be careful with some things. We call that parasecurity, right? And Valdo, on the other hand, Professor Valdo, he could last a lot of time, a long time of his life. The doctor said that he would not last until his 30s, I don't know, 40s, because he had a heart attack at 27, because he was not maybe looking into himself and doing his self research in order to have a life that would be more adequate with his parapsychism, and he had a heart attack at 27. But after the heart attack, he realized, okay, let's stop a moment. I need to look at myself and do some self research here and change some things in my life in order to last a little bit longer. And he lasted 83 years, right? Against all the expectations of the doctors. So I think this is the case for people that are thinking about Penta.
We have another question. Leona is saying that she understands that Penta allows the practitioner to slow down, pause, and reflect.
Yes. Yes, it's precisely it. Yeah, it is not just the 15 minutes, as I said. You have to slow down, pause, and reflect, but not just as a how can I say, as a something that you do, but as you have to implement this kind of reasoning into your whole life. You have to pause, slow down your whole life, and reflect. Considering your whole life, not just in a daily basis, as a operational thing, but as something more deep in itself.
Good. So we are starting to be towards the end of our presentation. I'd like to point out that Professor Rodrigo, he's publishing a book about energetic personal task. We are going to show the book here, and if Rodrigo could talk a little.
Yes. Yes, I will be releasing the book today, which is a synchronicity because it was not thought that I would be talking about Penta today here and releasing the book today. I was not aware of this coincidence priorly, but I will be here. I am in Iguaçu Falls now. This will be the official release of the book. It will be in Discernimentum. For those who are in Iguaçu Falls, you are very welcome to join us in our. It will be a talk show, I think. There will be a talk show in Discernimentum, and afterwards, I will be signing some books if somebody wants for me to sign the book. But this is the book here. So I have here my hands, and this is a book that is dedicated to people that want to start Penta. So this is a book that can, in some sense, complement what Professor Valdo wrote in the Penta Manual, which is the book that starts everything off. And my intention with this book is to help people that wants to start Penta. And if anybody has any doubts, it would be a pleasure to answer.
Very good. And Marcelo is thanking Rodrigo and congratulating him for launching of the book. And I was talking to Rodrigo before we started this interview, and I already asked him for an English version soon. So this is being thought about, and Rodrigo is also going to take part of our courses in English. So that's another good news that we have from today. Leona is also congratulating Rodrigo about the book launch. And Rodrigo, now if you'd like to do your final remarks and your final thoughts.
Okay, no, just thank you, and I'm always open to talk here. It was a great pleasure. Always happy to talk with you, and about these topics is also great to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we are going to have another Consciousness and Evolution soon with Professor Ellen Matos from Apex and her double, also Marcio Niemeyer. They are going to be talking about a self-research of that they've concluded, and with some new techniques as well. So I count on you guys going on YouTube and giving your like and subscribing to our channel. And thank you so much one more time, Rodrigo. We love having you here anytime, and good luck with your book launching today. Congratulations.
Thank you.